It's for the, you're just trying, they're the victims of this
Right.
congested traffic, and you're trying to, you know, other streets, you aren't near these areas, you could park on the street all day long without buying anything.
Well, mine's Bartlett, and it's completely congested, and I don't have that opportunity. And again,
You should.
and I get, no, but I get that, but then that comes with enforcement costs, because it is, you know, I understand, it's just, but if we're talking about covering some of our costs.
And it's also not necessarily do the residents need to park in front of their own house on the street, but it's a convenience that they then have more parking available for their guests and others. I mean, this is part of the larger discussion of parking, but just going back slightly to the overnight stuff. So now, if we were to get rid of the 20 free spots, every time my mother comes, because I only have space in my driveway for one car, we're gonna have to pay $2, right? And then go on and do all that kind of monkey business. So, I don't know, I don't think it's cost prohibitive. I would be very, to move this up a little higher. I do agree with Trustee Rozak that there are other costs involved in enforcing these areas and also in implementing and signage and everything else.
When did we implement the $5 long ago?
At the start of it. It's the year before I got on board.
That almost doesn't even cost the,
I mean,
Cover
I
the
don't
cost
know
of the paperwork.
Well,
Okay.
$10.
And can they buy these online?
I don't know if RCA is available online or not.
I think in the,
I don't believe so.
That's true.
I think it's 2-hour parking unless you have a permit. So they could also, if they didn't want to purchase a permit, they could just observe the 2-hour parking limit and what
So
it
it's
is.
a matter of
Right?
getting your groceries in the house or something.
Yeah.
and if you want to think about residential, if there are areas that are close to commercial areas like Stoll, where there's the animal hospital and the other businesses just right there, it kind of is a detriment to the business communities to allow these residents to park right, around the corner from the business district. So given that benefit of being able to keep your car out there, I think it's worth something for residents. More than $5. If you have to pay to park in one of these lots overnight because you don't have parking at your apartment, how much is that?
$50 a month.
A month. Yeah.
Or you sign a lease and then realize your car won't fit in the.
Yeah, or that, I mean, there's just like, this is the cheapest parking budget item that we can. The most inexpensive. So I'd be for going up to 25, I'll even, but if you guys want to stay in that
I'm
range.
just wondering what kind of reaction we'll get.
Yeah, it's some of this.
Big increase all at one time.
Yeah.
I actually don't, yeah, I mean, I feel like they were, in most of the village, you are able to park on the street in front of your house, and in these few areas, you're not because of congestion that doesn't really have anything, I don't think it has to do that much with the business district, it's
No.
UWM, so, I feel like they're kind of at a disadvantage, and then to charge them to bring them up to the level that everybody else enjoys, I don't know,
Would you vote to then, why do we have a $5 fee? Because if we're gonna have a fee, I want it to be a fee.
Okay, but then we don't have any actual information on what the actual cost of
So
the,
that it would go down to zero.
no, I'm saying the police or whoever is, wherever the cost is in the village, whether it's enforcement or whatever, let's have some actual numbers on what it really costs.
So I can anecdotally tell you it's more than $20
Yeah.
a year.
Way more.
Buy the permit, you send.
But again, to administer.
To administer that.
But this
yes,
is also some
service.
cost, I mean,
yeah.
we haven't hired new people for it, right?
Well, yeah, right here.
Yeah, I know.
And we get fee revenue from the people who don't have the permit who park there. So we're writing more tickets. Because we're writing tickets on people who don't have the permit, who are parking there more than 2 hours. So you'd have to look at it comprehensively. I mean, I'm open to looking at it, but I don't really feel right about
But what kind of reaction have we gotten to the $5? It's been around for 5 years now or whatever?
5 years, and it hasn't changed?
But-
I think it's a little longer now. When I did the research, it seems like the RCA was created in 10 or 11.
Okay, so what kind of, And then we've increased the RCA at times too, right?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Increased the area.
Yeah, just
And what happens when we increase it, we increase it because the neighbors want the
Right.
RC in their area, so they're asking for the $5 in one respect.
Yeah, they have no problem with it.
So,
Yeah.
there's probably a price point on this, but I don't understand how you can say that it costs more than $20 to do this.
Well, I mean, if you're enforcing on 500 vehicles in the general vicinity of RCA, 250 days a year, I mean, just inherently,
Got
I'm
three
just
customer services.
thinking that
Right.
it's probably more than 20 bucks
But I
a
don't
year.
think that we're increasing our employment
Well, no, but
for doing it.
Yeah, but it's always an opportunity cost, I have to say.
Yeah,
because We
I
have
mean,
we have a customer
it's
service
not a cash
manager,
There's
cost,
that
it's
too.
an opportunity, yeah.
and they could,
I'd be willing to go $10. I'm having a hard time with 20.
Yeah, and the 5 has always been, well, the decal problem, I don't know what the decal costs, you gotta put an envelope and mail it back. 5 seemed a little, those
we don't have.
10 might be within the range of reasonable.
Well, I would like us to, and I don't know if we can do this now, but if we were to only increase it to 10, when we send out the letter or whatever, say this might be going up again next year after we evaluate what the true costs of this are to the village. Because this is, I mean, we have granted these RCA districts kind of liberally, I will say. And there are, other impacts by doing this on other people. So it might be, we might want to educate, while we're educating, to say that, work
It's not
out.
free.
How many of these do
It's
we
not
have?
forever.
500.
500. If
500?
we went from $5 to $20, I would have to assume that the 500 would go 400 or something, go down.
I don't think any of them will go down, we're gonna keep them. There's no way, for $20 a year,
Oh, they would drop. I buy them at 5, I might park it, like, I
Yeah.
might buy one. If it was 20, I'd be like,
Yeah,
it's occasionally when I.
Then you don't need
and a lot of it.
Right, then you don't need it.
then it's
Exactly.
parking for no reason.
Right,
so-
I mean,
I'm
it's
just-
not, again, is this on a need base? Do people need these spots in front of their house? Or do they
I'm
just not
just
want
saying,
other
I'm
people to park
I'm
there?
just saying I may need, I occasionally, I'll have somebody working on my house and I need to park on the
Well,
street
And
wall.
again, from a budgetary perspective, this is, we'll implement whatever measure you want, we'll throw a number on it. It's a small number because it's a small fee for 500 vehicles, and it's really just, it's on the list.
Well, I
It's
think
a
it's good at
screen.
10, I'm okay with 10.
I'm fine with 10 for now.
And the
We have
process-
trustee
We'll
Butler's
look at it,
suggestion.
we can look at it.
And these get issued,
150.
this goes, the process, it's an annual permit, so they start sales soon. Yes. Yeah, all
Gonna look for $10 starting in
I mean-
2018.
And I think you can justify, all our rates have, even our planning permit fees went up this year. So, we looked at our fees, our fee schedule. This is part of our fee schedule.
Yeah,
And these are both related to annual cost. I would suggest that maybe in the public hearing notice, we indicate that there's been discussion of increasing these fees. You might start to get some dialogue on it even at the public hearing on the 20th of November. And then I know Tyler has some ideas about how to market all of this, so it'll get out and about in the
And
community.
we might want to consider doing it March 1st, if we're doing the $2 thing March 1st, keep the dates,
Yes.
otherwise it's going to get
Yep.
really confusing.
Yes, I agree, that's a good idea,
When
try to
does
do it
So
all
we're
together.
gonna,
Can I
I mean,
finish that?
the applications go out for
Right.
renewals, so they'd be at $5.
All those are annuals. so-
Yeah, they're annual. It's kind of like
Annuals.
but you can wrap this is a fee schedule increase based, just like we did for our permits. It's no different. It's reevaluating after a long period of time, the cost of doing business. And I don't know the communication method. I know Tyler will recommend something great, but if we're going to communicate somehow about the permits going up, we may want to include it in the same kind of communication.
If this hasn't gone up in a year.
Well, the only, and once again, we don't have to talk about this tonight, but the only thing to think about is, if we're talking about a $2 charge and we're having a good chunk of the community doing the previous item, I understand that for community messaging. For the RCA's, I don't know if that's necessarily something that we want to you know, if you want a huge article like in the Shorewood Today or something,
'Cause you got
talking
limited
about the
areas.
program, right?
Regs is limited.
So I think this is I would propose some different communication strategies on this one, where first we put our energy in just talking with the current RCA
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because it doesn't pertain to the whole community.
Right.
Like why-
So I would focus on your community-wide initiatives on the previous item. This I would just go with current users.
You're right.
Very good, yeah, and that might be done, might even be worth doing just a letter to notify everyone that fees going up from 5 to 10.
Right.
Lines 41 through 46,
Where are we at? What percentage?
1.5.
Hasn't changed.
Five.
All
right.
You know, these indicate items that were either withdrawn from the original request or were contemplated but not put forward due to budget considerations. I guess we're holding out hope that if any of these strike you as being meritorious of immediate implementation, that they could be funded in 2018, but we will certainly keep these items on our list of things that we would like to engage in. The first four are really software-based programs for agenda management, document management, financial data, public interfacing, and CAFR reporting. 45 is a $65,000 truck that we deferred until at least next year, and then Leanne also put in a request to start replacing our seasonal snowflakes that we hang from the lighting poles, as those are starting to fail.
They lights.
Yes.
Are they what, I'm sorry?
Lights.
Light to
Her notes, and this did not make the budget book, but that's beginning of a multi-year program to replace those. Not funny and done.
How much is it in total?
I
Yeah.
don't know, but they're big outdoor commercial grade holiday lightings for Capitol and Oakland. You know, so what they're doing now is as they break down, they're spreading them out. And again, you know, we want to disclose that they were requested.
Well, will Christmas still come if we don't have the snow?
They're holiday lights.
Yes.
I was making
Not
a
a
joke.
Holidays,
I was making a joke.
They got all PC on you.
So is the, can I ask,
Where's
I'm
the
kind of
little
concerned
menorah
about
lights?
something.
That's all I want.
Um,
not there.
So,
No.
with the adjustments we made to the tax levy, if we increased revenue, is there enough money for the snowflakes?
Right now, we are within fractional rounding of a 1.5% levy increase with the adjustments discussed tonight.
Even the revenue with the parking?
That doesn't have a tag.
You have the seasonal lights on our
Yeah,
capital.
parking utility.
You have the seasonal lights on our capital projects, not under levy.
Well, it would be a levy item, correct, we couldn't bond for those. So when they go into the budget at some point, they probably will have to, I think this is the first year it's come up. When they do go into the budget, it'll be a levy item.
So it's not really a capital project then?
Yeah.
It's it'd be more of a one-time project, not an ongoing operations. So that type of request would fall into the capital budget.
Can I ask about the capital project for the building entrance stair replacement at the police building? And I thought that that was going to be on the list, 18,000 for that one.
It was.
It
It
is,
was, you want to scroll up, Mark?
it is
You
all.
had,
What was that?
Where is it? Did we talk about it? I missed it.
No, it was a staff adjustment. It was line 16.
Yeah, 16.
15,
Stairs. Yeah, that's been removed, that's gonna be dealt with under their phase 2 facility
Oh, you
budget.
took that out. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's already removed.
Okay,
And
thank
the
you.
chief will be back on the 6th, hopefully with a more detailed breakdown of a budget with what he wants to accomplish in phase 2.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, trustee Lewis.
I had two requests that didn't make it to the conversation today, which is still kind of feel strongly about. There was a request I made of the recycling rebate. It kind of changed from the memo that when we voted on it to the budget today, and I just wanted some clarification on that. Aha. That's what that-
Actually, Public Works, for a brief memo, I reviewed the numbers, and the current calculations for recycling rebate do reflect about a 35% increase in collected recyclables. However, when we did go back to Waste Management after various iterations of discussions, the formula for rebates changed significantly with the final contract. So we still believe the 25,000 is the correct number in the budget. A little disappointing that the formula changed so dramatically.
I don't understand. So they bid it out and they told us that one for